Batman, Caped Crusader has brought various different versions of villains that we are accustomed to seeing, and this time the villain is Catwoman. But is this Catwoman as good as the ones we've seen in other works? Join me in this video as we dive into every detail of episode 3 of Caped Crusader. Welcome to Comic Chronicles. The title of the episode is Kiss of the Catwoman, and here we see a different Selina Kyle introduced, who comes from a wealthy family and is a kleptomaniac, something quite similar to what the character was like in the Golden Age. But before we analyze this episode thoroughly, be sure to give this video a bat-like thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, so you won't miss any videos about Caped Crusader and other works from the DC Universe. At the Gotham Museum, an exhibition of jewelry from the city's wealthiest families is taking place. Right from the start, we see a character who will be important to this plot introduced. His name is Eel O'Brien, a photographer from the Gotham Gazette. Another important character in this episode is Selina Kyle, the Catwoman. Selina shows interest in the Wayne family jewels, and soon Bruce appears, commenting on her reputation for stealing jewelry. Selina claims it's just rumors and that they are alike since they both come from wealthy parents. Without showing any interest, Bruce replies that her father was imprisoned for tax evasion, clarifying that they are not alike. Nevertheless, Selina insists that they should go out together because she is much more interesting than the women Wayne usually dates. Next, a man at the exhibition comments while looking at the Wayne jewels about who would dare venture into Crime Alley with such jewels. Bruce then punches the guy, but to avoid jail, he must attend therapy sessions with Dr. Harleen Quinzel. Harleen asks Bruce about his childhood, specifically the moment he lost his parents. Reluctant to open up to Dr. Quinzel, he states that it was a long time ago and that he no longer thinks about it. However, we soon see a flashback of the night the Waynes were murdered, when a police officer asks Bruce what happened. Alfred asks Bruce about the therapy, but Bruce jokes that the doctor thinks he will open up to her, but that will never happen. In Selina Kyle's apartment, Greta, her assistant, wakes her up and informs her about more past due bills that have arrived and that she wants to be paid for her salary that Selina hasn't paid for quite some time. Selina doesn't care and tells her to burn the bills. She sees a news story about Batman in the newspaper, and here we see an Easter egg straight from the comics. This photo of Batman is the same frame from Batman #1. Another detail in this scene is that Selina asks Greta if they still have the sewing machine, already showing that Batman's presence has influenced Selina to create her Catwoman costume, just like in Batman, Year One. Additionally, this Catwoman costume in Batman Caped Crusader is one of the most recognized by comic book readers, although it wasn't the first one the character used. We have a video on the channel entirely focused on Catwoman's history, from her origin in Batman #1 to more recent moments in the comics and adaptations in other media. Click on the card that is appearing on your screen to stay updated on everything about Catwoman. Continuing with the episode, headlines about jewel thefts start appearing in a retro style, with a classic newspaper spinning on the screen. During one of her heists, Catwoman escapes from the police but is quickly caught by Batman without much trouble. She is then taken to trial but released by the prosecution after Harvey Dent drops the charges following her claim that she won't do it again. This shows that corruption in Gotham is present even in the justice system. Although the villain this time is Catwoman, the highlight of this episode is Bruce Wayne. The scene where young Bruce is in the car with Alfred after the incident with his parents is very intense. The scene shows nothing but Bruce's vacant looks while Alfred observes him with all the sadness in the world. Just through their gazes, we have a powerful moment in this episode, and I would say in this season as a whole. This episode delved deep into Bruce Wayne's psyche, and the soundtrack, once again, as I mentioned in previous episodes, provides all the dramatic weight of the scenes. Even though Bruce doesn't share anything with Harleen Quinzel, his therapy sessions are affecting our beloved Dark Knight, yet he continues to pretend to the doctor. Quinzel says he has repressed the impact of losing his parents, which is causing repression in other ways since the life he presents is obvious, almost cliched, but it protects him from more suffering. Despite everything, Bruce does not give up and continues his charade. Meanwhile, after Selina Kyle is released from court, she tells Greta that they need to take the car to the shop, showing that this Selina Kyle doesn't really care about much. She's been arrested before, just got out again, and right after her release, she wants to continue her life of crime. Next, while beating on a punching bag, Bruce Wayne sees the news about Selina Kyle's release. Given his reaction, it's clear he knows she will return to crime soon. After this, The episode takes us to Selina Kyle, who is once again dressed as Catwoman and committing another robbery. Batman soon appears to interrupt her plans, and in a brief moment where she slips on the edge of a building, she falls but is saved by Batman. This is something very common between Batman and Catwoman. They always have this rooftop chase, but here, the moment of Batman saving her from falling is an Easter egg to Catwoman's introduction episode in Batman, the animated series, and the sequence is quite similar, including the kiss. However, unlike The Dark Knight in BTAS or even in the comics, Caped Crusader does not indulge Catwoman and interrupts her when she kisses him. He shows no interest in her. This is consistent with this version of Batman, as we see him being cold and not treating even Alfred well. Catwoman attacks him with a shock gauntlet and quickly escapes in her Catmobile, which originally appeared in the comics in Detective Comics number 122, where she refers to her Catmobile as the kitty car. After this, Selina, Greta, and all the cats in the house move to an apartment in Gotham's poorer area, where no one cares who she is and they don't even talk to the police. In a way, this also serves as an Easter egg to Catwoman in the comics, who at one point moves to the East End and starts living with Holly. Although she claims to have already paid a year's rent, Greta says she still has debts, including her salary. Far away, in the Batcave, Alfred suggests that Bruce take it easy and not give so much importance to Catwoman since she is just a jewelry thief, not a supervillain. But Batman does not make exceptions and soon devises a plan to capture her for good, which involves retrieving his mother's jewelry from the exhibition, causing the show to shut down 3 weeks earlier than scheduled. Thus, anyone who still wanted to attend would have only 2 days left, which catches Catwoman's attention. Back with Dr. Harleen Quinzel, she conducts the final treatment session with Bruce, but admits that she hasn't been able to help him. She knows he is not who he pretends to be, but he poses no risk to anyone or himself. Although the mandatory sessions have ended, she offers to conduct more sessions to help Bruce, but obviously, he declines, saying everything is fine and asking her to sign the papers confirming that he completed the deal he made with the prosecution. This is the last moment we see Harley appear, and her appearance as Harley Quinn will occur in another episode, where more layers will be added to her character. In this episode, she is presented solely as a psychiatrist genuinely wanting to help Bruce. Back in the car with Alfred, Bruce mentions that his sessions have finally ended, and once again we see how much Alfred laments all this because he truly wanted Bruce to go through therapy. We again see an intense flashback of Bruce as a child, hearing in his mind the gunshots that took his parents from him. He cries, and then we see him with that vacant look, going toward Alfred and making the vow that criminals will pay for everything they did, asserting that Pennyworth will help him. These flashbacks were well done and powerful. All these moments involving therapy, followed by flashbacks, provided greater depth to the Batman character, explaining why this Batman is so intense in his mission. I feel these details were extremely necessary for this animated series. If we stop to think, the Batman we saw in the New Adventures was also an intense Batman compared to the earlier seasons of BTAS. However, with the Bat family being more explored this season, I feel Batman didn't have as much space for deeper exploration of his psyche. In Caped Crusader, the creative team took care to build this character well, adding various layers to his personality, and these details, though minor throughout the season, are excellent and show that those who wrote the episodes knew where they wanted to go with Batman's development. Back to the episode, Eel O'Brien, the Gotham Gazette photographer who appeared at the beginning of the episode, is on the stairs of a building, photographing a city councilman who is cheating on his wife. Batman surprises him, asking for a favor. At Gotham Museum, Catwoman steals the Wayne jewels, which triggers a silent alarm alerting the police. Batman appears to stop her, and in the meantime, O'Brien captures everything happening on camera, ensuring that justice has enough evidence to keep Selina Kyle in prison. Catwoman brings a panther with her and commands it to attack Batman. As Catwoman flees, Bullock and Flash arrive, and Flash shoots at Selina, telling Bullock they won't need handcuffs because he's going to take her life. Batman uses sleeping gas against the panther to prevent the cops from executing Catwoman. This results in O'Brien snapping photos of Batman hitting police officers, but Batman does not care about those photos. He only insists that O'Brien publish the ones of Catwoman. After that, Selina calls her assistant and asks her to sell some things to pay her bail, but Greta responds that she has already done so and collected the money she could since Selina owes her 3 years of payment. This leads to Selina Kyle genuinely ending up in prison. The episode once again concludes in the Batcave. Batman states that the published photos of Catwoman will keep her locked up for a while, giving Gotham and himself a breather. But Alfred warns him that the photos of Batman hitting police officers will cause more problems than Catwoman was causing. Batman agrees but says that now those cops know he is also after them. We then see a final flashback, this time from Alfred's perspective, waiting for the Waynes to arrive in the car, but he hears 2 gunshots coming from Crime Alley. He quickly runs to see what happened. This episode was very good, and its greatness stems from exploring Bruce Wayne's psyche because the focus on the current villain felt somewhat shallow, in my opinion. If the episode had solely centered on Catwoman, it wouldn't have been as good. This Catwoman has yet to impress me, but I hope that in the second season, she will have a better and more in-depth character arc, as in the comics, she is a character with a rich backstory. To learn more about the Batman universe, I'll leave some great Batman comic recommendations in the description of this video. By using our affiliate links, you help our channel without having to pay anything extra for it. Thank you very much for all the support you give us. Thank you very much for being here in the video. Write your opinion about this episode in the comments. Did you like it? What did you think of Catwoman? What are your thoughts on the development Bruce Wayne had in this episode? Comment down below, tap on the sphere in the middle of the screen, and subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates and stay well informed about everything happening in DC and Marvel. See you in the next video.